Hello, freak fellas. I'd like to say that the team is expanding here. So if you're a producer, editor, podcast, video, you can do all that sort of stuff. Hit me up, the BOYSCAST with Ryan Long at gmail.com with your, stuff you've done if you're in New York. If you're not in the New York area, but you're an editor who can do lots of cool stuff and, whatever, let me know whatever level you're at and what kind of stuff you can do. We're looking to expand. Ideally, people where, you're a super talent. Everyone's been telling you that.
Yep.
Everyone's been telling you. Your mom's been telling you you're a super talent. Hardworking super talents. If you're in New York, that's even better, but there's other stuff too for people that aren't. Okay. Peace.
BOYSCAST. The boys, the fellas, the lads, the bros, the dudes, the homies, the mates, the blokes. The boys cast is the show. The dogs, the bunts, the bruvs, amigos.
The Bike Fall Man has a new video.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
What do you think he was going to say? So this is... Did you see that clip before?
No.
I mean, it's getting outrageous now, folks. This is a 90-year-old man. He's eating pudding. This is... the only Trump at his speeches, he's more lively than ever, too. It's not going to look good.
Oh, he's got the adrenochrome flowing.
He does, actually, too.
Trump's got the fucking blood coursing.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what he's going to say. Acetaminophen?
Acetaminophen, maybe.
Yeah,
so maybe... I need nurse!
This is an acetaminophen country.
I need my acetaminophen.
Maybe he was trying to say LGBTQ and he got all the letters mixed up because there was too many letters. So also he's banning vaping now too. So
is he?
I'm out of the game. So
he's going full ban on vaping?
Oh yeah, and people aren't happy that he's banning vaping because, well, basically one of the big things, it's a thing that, poor people do, right? So it's a big slap in the face to poor people.
Is it?
Yes, poor people smoke more than rich people.
Oh, yeah, but it's not only a poor people.
Well, vaping is a poor person and fucking 21-year-old girl, and I was doing it too, and I got out of the game. Well, I always start because I was...
Well, she's trying to help you. He's trying to help you help yourself.
Well, didn't need Biden's help. I'm fucking out of that game, dude. That's a game for 20-year-old girls. Which every girl in their 20s vapes now.
I know.
You'll never find one that doesn't.
I see really young kids vaping in New York, where I'm you must be 14.
Doesn't it look weird when you see a 50-year-old woman vaping?
Yeah, unless they have those giant rigs or whatever, where that seems because you could tell they were smoking 2 packs a day, and this is the only thing that they can not.
It's like a bong basically. Yeah,
it
is funny seeing a 60-year-old man fucking rocking vape clouds,
but the giant ones.
Well, yeah. Anyways, so people are saying it's kind of.
Well, he's cutting the nicotine in cigarettes,
and he's cutting the nicotine on cigarettes, and they've already gotten rid of the menthol.
What's worse, him cutting the nicotine on cigarettes, or in Canada, they're putting, how they have the warnings on the packs? They're now putting them on every cigarette.
Oh, how do they put a warning on a cigarette?
They're writing it because it's a piece of paper.
Really?
Yeah, so there's going to be a warning on every cigarette.
I mean, I don't know. That's whatever. They can do whatever they want, I guess. But it says, warning, you're gay. You're to put a cylinder object in your
smoke
mouth.
past here and you're gay.
Smoke past here and you're gay. Well, anyways,
acetaminophen. Come on, man.
That'd be funny, though, if he did come out and he started it like that. He's like, acetaminophen, you can't tell me what to do. He was just messing with everyone. And I'm the Biden man, and I'm riding my bike. And then he released a music video where he's doing a pop-a wheelie and stuff like that. So Elon Musk's daughter.
Yeah.
Woo! Elon Musk's daughter disowns him and files to ditch his name.
Yeah. Well, the daughter's trans. It's weird because the daughter has the same name as his new kid.
So I don't know if you read further into the story, but what happened is she disowned him because he made her invest in Dogecoin. So he said,
Dad, what happened to all this to the moon business?
He gave her his daughter apparently what I heard is Elon Musk gave his daughter her entire college fund, any future money she's going to get, all as a one lump sum in Dogecoin.
One Doge lump sum.
The
day before he hosted SNL, too.
The day before. I can see why she'd be a little upset about it. And by the way, speaking of things disproportionately affecting other things,
Yeah.
you're never going to see any Bitcoin articles where the Bitcoin crash disproportionately affects white men.
No. Have you seen all the NFT New York stuff popping off?
No, what
right,
happened?
right by the studio. You know, like all down the street, there's all those
Alright, what are they
venues.
doing?
I was walking to the studio last night for my show, and they have all these like events, and they're all moon boys.
Oh,
and
a lot of moon boys
everybody's-
are back?
but they're all waiting in the rain, and honestly, I was like, they have all these NFTs, and they're all like wearing shirts that say like NFTs aren't scams. And did you see in Times Square
So
yesterday?
they're trying. This is the last ditch effort to get people to fucking.
Kind of, yeah, and they're all down bad, if you will. Although
yeah, these guys are down
it really
bad.
depends, because some of them are like, yeah, I bought these things when they were $50. So
Yeah.
like, I'm still up a lot. But did you see, because the NFT New York City thing, and then so they have, it's similar to comedy where they have hot chicks in crypto, but they're hot for crypto. You know what I mean? Like in real life,
Titties
they're
for crypto.
They're just regular women, right? But then guys really simp on them, and a guy put up a billboard in Times Square to ask this girl out on a date.
And what was the verdict?
She said no. Because he put a photo of his mutant ape, and she's like, I'm not banging some dude who only has a mutant ape.
Yikes! Yeah. He was trying to figure out.
Bored ape or nothing.
He goes, "What is that worth? Fucking $4 now." Well, they're not going to see those articles, but apparently that's what happened. But then I looked into it further, and it turns out in reality, what happened was she was just mad that he's taking too long to buy Twitter because she has a lot of her slurs ready. So she was out there.
Fired up the old slur machine.
Elon Musk's daughter was out there, and she was ready to fucking lay it down. She was going to call people cocks. She was going to dox some people. And then, Elon didn't want to buy Twitter, so she was mad about that. He also wasn't happy that she dated Amber Heard because he's very Team Johnny.
Yeah.
And she says, Elon Musk's daughter is big Team Johnny, so she just thinks anyone who dates Amber Heard other than Johnny, she's not happy with.
Didn't
you know
he
what I
date
mean?
Amber Heard?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah,
she
yeah.
says that's Johnny's pussy, buddy. No,
Buddy? Pal?
pal, even if you did date her before, my dad, that's my dad's fucking chick.
Honestly, I actually feel bad for Amber Heard in a weird way all of a sudden, because people were showing photos and go, hey, I just saw Amber Heard in the TJ Maxx.
Oh, I know she's out there.
And people were like, what, does she have to die?
She has to die.
It goes back to the whole canceling people where you're like, what, do they have to die?
She has to die.
Like, is there nothing?
She's going to be in movies and stuff like that. I think she lost her one role, but I think she's going to be back in the mix.
You think she'll be back in movies?
Yeah, for sure. Especially
Maybe on like the Oprah network.
She also became more famous because of this, even though people don't like her at the moment.
Is that good fame though? Like, you think that's like fame that'll sell tickets fame?
For girls, it might.
Yeah.
Someone. She's not.
She'll be
done.
in like the Harvey Weinstein story. Like, that's what she'll be. She'll be like the protagonist in the Harvey Weinstein story.
So that was one of the reasons that we thought she was mad. Then we looked into it even further, and it turned out that she's disowning Elon Musk just because she wants to get away from her African roots. And she says,
anti-African sentiment.
She has a big anti-African sentiment. She goes, Africa does not represent me. Just because my dad's African, I am a white American, and I want to be called as such. So that was the other part. So those were all the
I bet
things.
she wasn't too pumped about the pronouns or stupid tweets.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of looked like that's why it was such an interesting kind of take, because Grimes is the same thing, where Grimes basically is like some sort of gender fluid or whatever, and she's sort of been posting all these things about we're raising our kids gender fluid, which that was sort of the compromise, is where she's saying, we want to raise the kids not a boy or girl, and Elon Musk, because how about we give him a computer name, meet in the middle.
Yeah, which the kid that changed their name also has that name.
A computer name?
Well, it's so the new kid it's Xavier, but it's like in these weird things.
Weird
and then
name.
the kid changing their name, their I don't want to dead name them, but their dead name is Xavier, but spelled normal.
So they're all his kids are named Xavier?
Yeah, he just loves Xavier.
But he spells them all differently.
But the new one is all spelled wacky.
Well, that is a guy that's naming his kids computer names a
Well, you
little
can
bit,
give
right?
his kid a regular name.
Right. Well, but that's the thing. It sort of opens up a lot of questions about what's going on before, because you're like, when he was posting all the stuff about pronouns, was he really just having a public fight with his daughter online?
Possibly.
Like, he's kind of going on and being like, if you actually think about it, this pronoun sounds dumb, and this is him talking to his daughter through Twitter.
Yeah.
Like,
he's subtweeting her.
But
but to the world.
Yeah, how there was those jokes. I think Rogan had a joke like this where it was like, maybe Caitlyn Jenner just lived in a house with all like fucking women, and this is what did to her or whatever. Maybe he's got some ex-wife, he's got the gender neutral kids, and then that's what like turned him, where he basically went full like this ends now.
Yeah.
This gender stuff's out of control.
That's it. I'm buying Twitter. Fuck this shit.
Yeah. Well, they said the 18-year-old wrote a court petition that she does not wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. You don't want to be a Musk anymore, huh?
It's gonna be awkward.
This is the ultimate,
and
like,
she has a
fuck you,
twin.
Dad.
She has a twin too, and the twin's not doing this.
The twin's not doing this.
This is pretty awkward.
It raises a lot of questions.
Pretty awkward holiday time.
Well, Elon Musk too. It's sort of another interesting thing where he's been out there telling everyone for the last couple of weeks, like everyone needs to have more kids. Like anyone who doesn't have kids, like anyone who doesn't have 10 minimum kids, like you basically the human race is going to be dead because of you, kind of thing, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's word for word what he said. And then it turns out he's got all these kids where it's like, A, he doesn't see him. B, they all hate him.
Yeah, they all hate him.
So it's like, it's not like you're the perfect model of like how to be the family man.
He's just making people. He doesn't care what they do.
I think that's what he says. He goes, yeah, but his people are turning trans and they're not even going to procreate. So he's sort of...
He tried. Well, the other one is... At least because there are two twin boys, one of them's now trans or whatever. But at least I wonder what that dynamic is like because they're identical twins, and then I wonder if one of them's like, "Yo, Dad's sick,"
right?
And the other one's like, "I hate Dad. I'm trans now."
So that's possibly there's a lot of inner turmoil going on.
Well, that's what you do. You have twins. If one of them pans out,
but it does seem like all of his pronoun tweets now were very pointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a guy who gets in a fight with his girlfriend and then tweets online like "fucking women are all bitches," and the girl's like, "Is that about me?" You go, "No." That could be about anyone.
I wonder what
the general comment that I have.
I wonder what they're going to change their name to.
It's probably Xavier.
Joe Biden.
Xavier.
Xavier.
Well, the 18-year-old whose full names we're withholding for privacy reasons, but he's the most public person at this point.
Isn't it Xavier Musk?
Yeah, I think maybe they're withholding the new name.
The new name.
I think this is what this magazine, like the Daily Beast, didn't get the information, but then they're acting.
Like they're like doing.
They're doing
having some journalistic integrity.
But they just didn't have like the scoop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For journalistic integrity, that's a guy who comes back. He's like, I'll bang the shit out of this girl, and you go, what does she look like? And you go, honestly, I can't kiss and tell. What were the titties like? That's not a kiss and tell.
Yeah. This is the same Daily Beast who was. I can't believe they announced the Joker 2 during Pride Month.
This is the same Daily Beast.
Correct.
Well, the 18-year-old wants to take the maiden name of her mother, Justine Musk, who was, I guess, but she's still a Musk allegedly, which is interesting. Elon Musk's old wife's still going with Musk, but she doesn't like him that much either, because she went on like a very big rant about him. So all the people in Elon Musk's life aren't that happy with him.
No,
I don't. I feel like it is interesting to think like. Were his pronoun tweets that to me? I'm like, I'd love to know if it was related or not, because I feel like I have gay and trans people in my life, and I don't really change anything than what I'm saying. But it is because it did seem like he sort of made it his issue recently. Mm-hmm. Like it did become a hot topic for him very recently, where he tweeted 3 public tweets, and he never really talked about it before then. And then all of a sudden, this comes out where it almost seems like it's pointed.
I mean, I could definitely buy that.
And I still do agree with that the pronouns stupid thing. I don't get why this is anti-trans if you actually think about it. Because really, if you say trans people are real or whatever, right?
They are.
Yes. Okay.
Stop erasing us.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're trans fat, right?
Trying to be
you're a fat guy that's fucking transitioning into a fatter guy.
Trying to be a professional swimmer.
Well, even if you believe that they're real, which I do, that doesn't mean that the non-binaries are real, right? So it really does think, I always go through this, and I'm just like, I was thinking about it last night when I was thinking about this, and I really think the move is, you know how gay people, like in like all the intersectionality tries to clump each other together, where gay people will go to black people like us,
Yeah.
And we're like,
we're all victims. Yeah, we're all the white man. It's us against the white man.
It's us against the white man kind of thing, right? Okay, but why? If you say, hey, it's like I'm a person that was born in the wrong gender's body, right? Why would that have anything to do with the people that say I'm not any of the genders? Like they're clumped together when really it is a completely different
because
thing.
It would be such a mess to give everybody their own thing. It's just that much, I think, for all that stuff. If you're saying every gender is its own thing.
No, but they contradict himself, and
Of
that's what he was
course,
pointing.
yeah.
Well, but there isn't really an inherent contradiction in saying that, yeah, I'm a guy that should be a girl. There's no contradiction really in that.
Yeah.
Like people can say it doesn't make sense or whatever they want to say, but there's no contradiction. It's when they say that, yeah, and there's also no gender. Like obviously that was the big thing. So if trans people were smart, they would say, you know, because they probably think they're almost like lower on the victim scale, right? But really, they need to push the same reason like some gay people are like, bi people don't get to be part of our club.
Yeah.
Trans people, if they were smart, if they got rid of the like if they said, we actually don't think non-binary is a thing, but men who are born women and women who are born men are really a thing, they'd have such a stronger case.
I agree
and the
with that.
non-binary people that are like, oh, I'm no gender, they would be the ones where everyone was like, okay, that's not a thing, but trans people is. Like, if they separated themselves from the like, oh, there's no such thing as gender, they'd actually have a way better case.
Yeah, the problem is then they would find themselves agreeing with Tucker Carlson on something, and then they would be like,
Sure.
we cannot allow that.
But well, they'd be the trans turfs. But most trans people live their life as like a pretty standard
Binary
version of
gender,
a binary other
for
sex.
sure.
So
and you know what you're saying you might see that happening akin to the turf thing,
And they're gonna
where
be the turf.
eventually when there's gonna start like losing ground because of this stuff, and then they're gonna be like,
yeah, and then like some, you know, dude that has like eyeshadow on that's like, I'm none of them, they'd be like, okay, he's not even in part of our thing, like this is not what we're about. And then the whole pronoun debate would go away because they'd be like, yeah, you don't have to call us they them, like I'm a him, I was a her. It's like, and then I look like a her, so you can tell. I feel like that would be a huge move for trans people to get their leverage up, but they'd lose their victim
I could
status
see
a little
I
bit,
could
but-
see Caitlyn Jenner proposing something like that.
Oh, you see what I'm saying?
Because Caitlyn Jenner's super based.
I think a lot of the people that trans from guy to girl probably do say that because they're like, yeah, I'm a girl. Like,
Yeah, that's the whole point.
no,
It's-
I'm not none of the things. I'm a girl.
not a man. I am a woman.
Yeah.
Case closed.
So I think they need to add one more letter. NBs. And then the trans people need to slowly sort of like slink away from the NBs and then just be like, we're not, that's nuts.
That's wacky. Huh? Referring to somebody as they in the singular. Confusing as shit.
Well, especially, yeah, because they convinced the trans people too, where they go, you should call us they, and you go, but you trans from girl to guy, and you go, so you're a guy. It's like, so why do I have to call you they? And you go, well, it's just I'm into this stuff.
Yeah, I'm into the stuff. It's literally like I like forcing fucking people I disagree with to say the stuff I want.
I like that, yeah. So, anyways, it feels to me that would be the thing. So that was Elon's. So I think you could say pronouns are dumb and still be like,
what about
my
this for
trans daughter is
Elon
fine.
to get his kid back? And this could maybe be some sort of Disney movie. He goes non-binary. He goes, is that the whole thing? You know, like the parents do the thing that the kids
yeah.
go, oh, you love the devil, huh? I love the devil too.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Partying every night.
Yes, let's go to a Kiss concert and worship the devil.
Yeah, it's your mom and dad coming up. Oh, no, it's your kid says he's polyamorous and be like, the parents come home and be like, we're also polyamorous. Fucking Barb and Chuck are on their way over.
And the kid's like, you know what? I'm fucking straight as shit.
Elon Musk's kid would just go back to the normal if he came home instead of saying I'm non-binary.
You know what? I want to support you, and it's just I've really thought about this, and I'm also non-binary.
Look at us, a couple of non-binds, and then they have to be one of those things where it's like, you're not a real non-binary. Maybe you're not a real non-binary. You're questioning me? I question you.
He puts on fucking a little blush, some eyeshadow.
Yeah, so that could happen. But the Musk's wife stuff was interesting. She goes, at the same time, he said Singer Grimes identifies as gender neutral. Grimes is clearly a girl. Reported to have adopted a gender neutral parenting system for their children. So they have this whole sort of thing, right? And then Musk's ex-wife said what she doesn't, she's talking shit about Elon to the blogs or whatever, which she's probably got so much fucking money for him too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she goes, he grew up in a male-dominated culture of South Africa, so it's a big evil.
So Africans are the problem.
Africans are the problems. Yes,
Daily Beast. Yeah. Gotcha. Loud and clear,
Daily Beast. Africans are the problem, and and the will to compete and dominate that made him so successful in business. It did not magically shut off when he came home. This and the vast economic imbalance between us meant that in the months following our wedding, a certain dynamic began to take hold. So she's sort of with the richest man in the world, and she's like, you know, he's being a little bossy, and he's this manly man.
Well,
right?
he wasn't even the richest man in the world at that point. He was just some guy.
Well,
I mean,
she
he was
said
after
the huge,
PayPal,
yeah,
but-
she said huge wealth imbalance, right?
Yeah.
But she said
Between
Elon.
what, her and him?
Uh-huh.
You don't say. Between the guy who founded PayPal and what do?
Well, she said she didn't like the way that there was some sort of an imbalance when it trickled home at work when he came home after making the millions and she was, you know, fixing her oven mitts. Well, he goes, Elon's judgment overruled mine, and he was constantly remarking on the ways he found me lacking. I'm your wife, I told him repeatedly, not your employee. And he said, if you were my employee, I would fire you. So he gave her the sort of Hillary, you'd be in jail line.
They'll lock her up.
That's pretty, yeah, isn't that pretty crazy?
That's a fucking, but that's only thing like a really autistic guy could say to his wife.
Well, so he's basically saying like, here's a list of things you're doing wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how bad they were. Maybe it would be interesting if they were like, you know, the fucking the meat roast was a little cooked bad, and I told you.
He probably has like a monthly like a performance evaluation.
That's what it
he
sounds
sits
like.
her down and he goes, "So what do you feel like you've been doing well?
When you're fucking.
What do you feel like you've been doing poorly?" And she goes, "You know,
I don't want to be doing this.
yeah."
When you were giving me
like
hand jays, I didn't really like your little coarse hand. I told you to get that file down. Well, anyways, I love that he gave her she goes, I am not your employee. And he goes, yeah, well, if you were my employee, I would fire you.
He literally gave her the, what do you do here?
Isn't that funny? It really reminded me of the Hillary, like.
But
if-
you know,
if
too,
I
his
was in charge, you'd be in
friends
jail.
are probably like, Elon, what are you doing
With the
with
performance.
the performance evaluations?
Well,
with
he's
your
sort of like
wife?
she's got quite the deal, my friend. Don't worry about
but they
that.
all do. All his friends are like, yeah, all our wives
our
have
wives have quite the deal.
Quite the deal. We all do. None of us have the fucking balls to give our wives performance evaluations. It's just you, Elon. Like all the PayPal mafia guys are all like, yeah, we don't do that.
All our girls have good deals, yeah. Well, the world swimming body, well, now it's a loss for the boys. Actually,
Yeah.
the world swimming body, and on the same topic, is kicked the trans people out. And they said they're doing a new open category. So, as it turns out, all those people were on the wrong side of history. Isn't that true?
Temporarily.
Yes, but isn't that funny that if you think about it, because they did all the studies or whatever, and then they turns out, which is like every fucking person with a brain,
Yeah, it's like,
was
again,
saying
it's-
for a million years that like, yes, people that transition.
I mean, it's the ultimate gaslighting. Is
It's
trans
the
people
most.
we go, hey, just you don't have any advantage.
it's nuts from
Like
all
if you're
around.
a man, you go, really, none.
Or their advantage is like, yeah, I have an advantage just like any woman has an advantage over another woman that
Yeah,
she's stronger than. What I mean, it was just like
Yeah.
it was the biggest eye roll for anyone with a brain and where everyone tapped out. And I think they realized that and they couldn't shove this down everyone's throats. But I'm kind of mad because it was my favorite one for that reason.
What was?
Oh, like
Swimming?
Yeah, trans people just dominating like women's sports.
Oh yeah. But this is only swimming.
I said that it was the only one of their things that I liked and they took it away.
Yeah. That's fine though. But that's only swimming.
Not fine. I was happy about it.
Oh. But they don't.
No, the Olympics too.
Oh,
They said.
Oh, I thought. Yeah, but just for swimming. There's still other categories. Like they had the weightlifting last summer.
Yeah, they still have a few other categories,
Yeah,
but just swimming. But so they're only better at swimming, is what
I
they're
don't
saying.
even give a shit about men's swimming.
Well, so they're basically saying that they're only good at swimming. Well, there's lots of things you don't
No,
care
the
about.
swimming.
but whatever.
The swimming ones are just the first ones to kind of lay down the law because of the Leah Thomas stuff. Where they go, look, like we have scrutiny on us as a swimming
Right.
body. Because,
was the body
because
of
of
swimming,
yeah,
yeah.
because of Leah Thomas. They're like, if there was some other athlete and some other thing, I'm sure that gogoverning body would be having this.
Well, that's
discussion.
even funnier too that they have to do it one by one, where it's going to be like eventually they're like, okay, so we've admitted that they have they have an advantage in swimming. We've admitted they have an advantage in all team sports. The only thing that they don't have an advantage in is the 400-meter dash. Like, it's gonna be the one last like competitive thing. But I mean, they are on the wrong. That was on the wrong side of history where they were letting people compete unfairly. And but I feel like it would be nice if One thing is that means Leah Thomas will be the last trans person to ever win a.
Does this apply to for
medal in that.
collegiates? I didn't see if that was for college. Like, is there still gonna be college?
I hope that it goes on for a little longer because this was the most
like it.
losing battle that these people picked.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was a few other good losing battles, but this was the main one for me that I enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, we really went really fast from like, hey, we should be able to use the bathroom we choose to like, we want to compete in sports.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, the bathroom one was fine.
To like, we want Elon Musk to give us more money. Or
Yeah,
we're
we want
changing our
free
gender.
Musk bucks.
Okay, the last one on this topic, because there was so many of them. Well, it's not quite on this topic, but this one is making me laugh. So there's this thing, Bo's Coffee Roasters, right? And it's a Vancouver thing.
Yeah.
And it was like a calamity of errors. So it's like a serious, like, I don't know if you've seen the other one where they have the anti-capitalist coffee
in
shop.
Toronto.
Yeah.
The anti-capitalist coffee shop.
So they have this whole coffee shop where it's like the anti-cap, but it's like, and they're like, we sell books and stuff, but their whole thing is they need to justify every purchase how it's not capitalist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're like, every employee gets the same wage, I guess, is
well,
one
it's
of
a
the
co-op.
things.
No, it's a co-op.
Yeah, so it's
so
a
it's like, I guess
co-op.
all the employees, and you go, yeah, have fun when you face insolvency, sorting out this co-op thing.
Yeah, everyone owes money.
Yeah, all the employees
Oh
go,
my
hey,
God.
so part of this whole capitalism thing is you didn't realize it, but you guys all kind of took on a bit of risk.
Holy shit, that'd be so funny if their
so-
capitalism things, like all of them owe like 20 grand now to some like
Yeah. So
Jewish landlord. Some like some communist.
we're a bit in the hole. So if our commie friends want to gather around and pass the hat.
Holy shit, dude. Yeah, they come in, they're just like, all right, so we need to pool our money together. It's like, I thought we were getting paid. It's like, no, we all owed $20,000.
Yeah. I mean, we could have been getting paid if this worked out. But
Also, we have to work more hours too.
you're going to want to ask for more hours at your other job because this one's not working out. Next time I'm in Toronto, I'm going to go to this anti-capitalist coffee shop.
Yeah.
Check it
Well,
out.
they have all these things. They're selling books, but they can't, like, their whole thing is they don't want to sell them at a margin. So that is the thing. They're all losing money on top of everything, right? So they sort of, because one of their big problems with capitalism, I guess, is like markups.
Yeah.
So, but, obviously they're include a lot more things, right? So they want to sell, they have lot of things that they're selling at like cost, but it's like, so they basically still have to, go get them and stuff like that,
Of course,
right?
and overheads and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah. Baby.
I wonder if the landlord, they open up and the landlord shows up and they go, wait, this is an anti-capitalist
Wait, what
coffee
the hell?
shop? I thought this was just a coffee shop. They go, it is just a coffee shop, but it's owned by the workers. And you go, oh God, this is the landlord's like, oh,
that'd be so
fuck.
hard to get. At least, obviously, someone has money and they're taking the hit on this whole thing.
Yeah. Someone's putting
I'm
up
sure
the
their coffee's still $5.
It is. That was what everybody was saying. Go, the coffees are still fucking $6 for.
Oh my God. Well, there's this other one called Bo's Coffee Roasters, right? And they had kind of an even better thing because they basically posted a help wanted, right? Sort of like I did on this thing, but I'm not discriminating between race.
Yes.
So basically they said in their help wanted sign, they were like, hey, we got this coffee shop. We're looking for people. And they said, ideally, we want, trans, non-binary, non-inclusive,
All the stuff, yeah.
all the stuff, right? Blah, 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 Leah Thomas adjacent, blah, blah, blah. They said, we want black. What? We're taking black. We're taking white. We're taking brown. But they said that, but in the thing, they said cis white males will be last on our list, but you can still apply if you want to. But, let's be real, right?
People have become so cooked where they just feel like that's
You ever remember
acceptable.
I know. Do you remember that song? They call me Stacy.
Yeah.
They call me. Yeah.
That's not my name.
We're hiring Stacy. We're hiring Tammy.
We're hiring blacks.
Day. We're hiring browns. But not
just no
cis whites. But not cis whites. We're
It's
we're
the same
hiring
as the
Indians.
thing with Tyler.
We're hiring Muslims. We're hiring non-binaries. But just not cis whites. Not cis whites. So I think that's kind of what it was. But the better part, so that's the funny part, whatever, right? Like that happens all the time. I wouldn't just bring just that to your
Like
attention.
the OG fucking like racists too, like the boomer racists are just like, you fools. Of course we weren't hiring certain people. We didn't put it in the ads. It's fucking amateur hour. They're like, yeah, we also didn't hire certain races.
First
we didn't
Avian
put it in the
races?
ad.
That's so funny. You're right. It's welcome first day being racist.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, totally. Like,
Racist noobs. Well, so after, whatever, people online were quote tweeting them, and posting our meme and stuff, which is how I found out about it. But they apologized.
Yeah.
And guess what their apology said? They came out and they apologized and they go, hey, we realized we made a mistake. And we had, 19 meetings about it and all this stuff, right? So we've apologized because our post might have pressured some people to out themselves that currently pass as cis white men. That's the reason that people were getting mad at them.
Yeah, we're sorry that we had to.
So I guess people on both sides were getting mad at them.
Yeah, because people had to write a gay box.
Well, if they wanted to claim their victim status, you know what I mean? Like there might have been just a cis straight man that he didn't want to tell you, like, so are you just a cis straight man? And he's like, I suck dick. I didn't want to have to do that.
I'm gay.
I'm gay. So he didn't want, because basically if there was like a gay white man that was born a man, he would potentially be able to get a job there.
But really, if you're a white guy and you're secretly gay, but you're not openly gay, what use are you to them?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like,
right?
you're like, all I can do is make coffee. I'm not.
Well, what better way to come out of the closet than for your benefits as a job at Bo's Coffee Roasters?
Also, how is the fucking
Who's coming out of the closet?
Human Rights Tribunal not getting involved in this? Like, Vancouver literally has the Human Rights Tribunal is getting mixed. This is exactly what they're designed to do, shit like this. And they're fining comedians.
Okay.
So how are they not finding this business?
Yeah.
Like, you're like finding comedians for a joke. You're like, and it's all has to do with stuff like this at workplaces. This is like this must be the top of the
How
things
is this not higher than that?
This is the number one thing you're not allowed to do is like overtly discriminating against people in a workplace.
But they are allowed to do it, I think, over there, right? They've gotten probably some language baked in.
Because it's like protected class or whatever.
I guess so. I don't know how exactly they justify it, but I guarantee you they do.
Yeah, because I mean the guy Earl, the first guy who got dinged by the Human Rights Tribunal, was in Vancouver, and it was for like yelling at some lesbians.
Well, some guy in UK just got investigated by the police for a joke he made. So the police come knock at your door and they say. Yeah, it was some gay dude too, and it was like literally back to the old school Lenny Bruce, like obscenity.
Yeah,
it was too obscene.
It's too obscene.
What was it? I said that fucking men have dicks. This is obscene.
This is obscene. Yeah, I was watching the Carlin thing, and he had that where he got arrested. And
this is obscene.
He got arrested in the fucking. If people haven't seen it on HBO, but he gets arrested for like obscenities at this event, and then the assistant DA was at the event, like as a watching, and so they said he caused like I can't remember what the wording, but like caused some sort of like crazy like not panic or whatever, but just like some thing where people were going crazy, and so then they arrested him, and then he's in court, and then the assistant DA was like. They were like, did this happen? And he was like, yeah, I was there. And they go, did they do this? And he goes, no, they give him a standing ovation or whatever. And then he said that the judge they were playing back and the judge was covering his face.
The judge laughed?
Because he was trying not to laugh throughout the whole thing.
Oh, come on.
Mess. And it was just because he was saying it was the 7 words or whatever.
Did he get in trouble?
No, they had to throw it out. But
so
they arrested him.
Yeah, but he got his thrown out.
Yeah, he got his
that'd be pretty huge for publicity getting thrown out, though.
Oh, for sure.
Probably better to publicity if the take is like something like too obscene than if your take is like racism. Probably doesn't help you that much.
No.
They're like, it's obscene.
Wait, are we for the editor gig for the podcast? Are we allowing cis white men, or is that a no-go?
They're at the bottom of the pile. Let's put it that way.
Ryan said that, not me.
And I'm so sorry if you're one of the boys that's currently sucking a dick through a glory hole.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, fuck, I'm going to have to come out of the closet, Reno.
Yeah, we demand you come out of the closet.
Which leads us to our next article. Yeah, we're all, if anyone that we hire has to come out of the closet.
Even if you're not
straight.
in it. Yeah. Come out.
Yeah, so we're only accepting cis straight by men, but like we don't care if you're actually gay. That's part of your hazing is to come out of the closet publicly. I'm going to take a quick second here to tell you about a sponsor of the BOYSCAST, Sunday. Now, if you're out there, spring's coming. You want to get that lawn looking fresh. All the other dads walking around saying that's a man's lawn, like my boy's lawn. That I'm sitting there. You're the talk of the town. It's hard to imagine. Spring's almost here. We're so close to feeling that grass. Now, if you're worried about the chemicals you're using or you want to keep your yard looking best, traditional lawn care lays down more than 90 million pounds of pesticides every year. Sunday is different. They're on a mission to change how people care for their yards. So, most of us might not think about this, but what you want to do, Sunday can help you grow a beautiful lawn without the guesswork or nasty chemicals. They customize plans that include fertilizer and everything you need for it to easily care for your lawn with the ingredients like seaweed, iron, and molasses. You can feel good with kids and pets being around. All you have to do is visit Sunday.com. You put in your address, and then their lawn care analysis tool does the rest. So pretty cool stuff. Then they use soil and climate data to create a personalized, nutritious plan delivered to your door when you need it. You attach the pouch, bada bing, bada boom, to the garden hose and spray. Takes less than 15 minutes. And best of all, this stuff really works. Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Full season plans start at just $129, and you can get 20% off checkout when you go to visit getsunday.com/boyscast. That's 20% off your plan at getsunday.com/boyscast. Hey, this article, this is something that we had to cover because Danny has sort of been obsessed with it, the monkeypox.
I've been loving the monkeypox.
You have been loving it. He's been obsessed with it all weekend. He was talking about it in St. Louis. He's going on because basically
Insane.
The Daily Mail.
Mental.
Okay, well, you talk about it.
Well,
You're
just
obsessed
okay,
with
there's
it.
monkeypox and there's pride. And I was saying to Ryan yesterday that a buddy of ours like posted that he was going to the Pride Parade, and then I see him in Toronto, and then he's like, yeah, I'm like going to get vaccinated. And I was like, getting vaccinated? It's June. And then he keeps posting on Instagram, and I go, oh, he's getting vaccinated from monkeypox. So gay people are getting, as they should, I guess, because I guess depends who you ask, but it's a problem.
Prep for monkeypox.
Yeah, but so there's a vaccine for monkeypox, and then gay people are getting it. But then the CDC, who is like giving us all this advice about COVID for the last 2 years, comes out and they're like, if you have to have sex with monkeypox or whatever, like here's all the things you can do, and it's like keep a distance and masturbate in front of each other and wear clothes. If you have open sores, they literally go, yo, you might have open monkeypox sores. Here's the safe way to have sex. Imagine fucking you're so depraved that you can't wait the 2 weeks for your sores to clear up.
It's pride,
and it's like biblical too. It's not like you have a cut. You have these boils all over your body, and they're just like, yeah, throw a shirt on.
Wear a turtleneck and a ski mask. That should do it. Cut a hole for the dick. Cut a hole for the dick. Well, it is really funny though, showing up with like your face is covered in monkeypox, and they're like, Jesus Christ. You're like, no. Read this. Yeah. We're good.
You know what? Actually, I was saying to JJ last night, but it's kind of crazy to think that. So Pride. Did the Pride parades already happen, or they're this weekend, right?
I'm not sure.
They're this weekend. So remember when COVID was happening, and then there was like the crazy biker rally, and they go, that biker rally, there was like all these COVID cases 2 weeks later. Like there's a really good chance 2 weeks from this weekend, there's going to be like massive monkeypox outbreaks because all these gay pride parades are happening everywhere.
Okay, and you're saying they like to get down.
No, well, apparently if you have a monkeypox, you could just like rub up against somebody. So, and they're all shoulder to shoulder at these things.
Oh, Danny's like a Justin Trudeau for monkeypox.
Yeah. Well, no.
Shut it down.
Let them get the pox. I don't care. It's not my business. But I'm just saying, like, there's a chance.
But that's none of my business.
There's a chance in 2 weeks from now they're going to be like, oh, there's a real monkeypox outbreak.
I wonder why.
What happened? You go, well, there was the largest gathering of homosexuals on Earth.
Do you imagine they imagine the stats if they did them after you and your buddies went to the cabin? Well, they said virtual sex is one thing that they proposed. So
yeah,
but it's funny because you're like, hey, do virtual sex. They're like, no, we're doing that too.
Didn't they? Yeah,
kissing.
Didn't they say during COVID with the glory holes?
They said the glory holes in this one too. So they like the glory holes with this one.
Got some fucking freaks at the CDC. You go,
well, that is funny too, and some fucking some bros where they just said no kissing in love and girl, husband who loves. No kissing, eh? Okay, so if you're a gay dude that's laying it down at Pride, laying it down, no kissing and loving, boo, you guys. So no kissing and loving.
None.
Yeah, you're just here for the bang in and out
Yeah,
through the
just
hole,
through the hole.
clothes on, put the dick through the hole like you're some husband wearing his camping outfit.
Yeah.
Khaki pants, toe shoes.
What would you do if you walk in 2 weeks from now, you walk into a coffee shop and the person working there clearly has monkeypox on their face?
No kissing and loving. I tell you what I wouldn't do. Well, if I walk into
it's like
Bo's Roasters Coffee.
Because it's not like discriminating against someone with COVID.
No.
Because COVID, they kind of would blame the people who got COVID. They'd be like, yeah, why aren't you being more careful?
Uh-huh.
But if you have monkeypox, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you're homophobic. I have monkeypox.
Well, there's a couple hip doctors, too. So they said, the glory hole is a small opening cut into a wall that allows someone to have sex with as little skin-to-skin contact as possible.
Did you learn that in med school?
Well, it's... Well, it's a very hip doctor. Like he's smoking a dart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You come in, you're like, doctor, I'm infected. I got the pox.
Yeah.
And you go, but I got a problem. I have a date with Tom, Brad, Jimmy, and Tommy tonight at the Bee House. And the doctor goes, you ever heard of glory hole?
Do you think he has if you go to a Home Depot and they have a sample of all samples on one piece of wood, where he brings out a thing and there's all these different types of glory holes? You go, yeah, there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know you can do a square glory hole.
Yeah, that's underrated. People don't know. There's the diamond glory hole.
You're going to use a nice fine grit sandpaper just to make sure.
Yeah, you're going to want to sandpaper that bad boy. I actually take the holes out and make a coaster of them. I like to, I'm like the natives. I don't like to waste anything. So if you come to my house, there's a lot of coasters. I actually got a business selling the coasters, glory hole coasters. Anyways, I'll see you at the bathhouse. The doctor's also going to be there. The hip cool doctor. 3-page memo told people to avoid orgies. So he goes, can we take a day off the orgies, people? Can we have No.
Not during Pride Month.
That's what we do.
No.
So you see, this guy that's something that you've been sort of obsessed with. I've been sort of obsessed with and sending everyone to people. Is this guy the snitch of the year?
Oh, this guy sucks. This guy sucks so much.
Well, I posted this being like, I can't believe this guy exists, right? And I'm loving it. So let me find. Okay, so there's this guy, Amir Adaran, right?
Yeah, this guy has long TDS, by the way.
Oh, he has long TDS.
He has the long
TDS is great.
Dude, he has the longest of TDSs because he calls any person who disagrees with him, he goes, you MAGA chuds. And you go,
yeah, you MAGA.
Not everybody who thinks you're a psycho is MAGA. They just think you're crazy.
So it's the craziest guy in the world, right? And he's a unions lawyer, you know.
And an epidemiologist.
His name's Amir. And the stuff he looks pretty, pretty white passing Amir.
I think he's Iranian.
Okay. He goes, hey, United, why are you breaking the law? Masks are required on all flights out of Canada. Your flight attendant isn't wearing one. This is flight UA 3737 in Ottawa right now. Tags the police, transport, the police, GC, Airpass, CBC Politics, Globe and Mail, Global News. And it's this black chick that was, she's on the phone doing an announcement at the back. So that's the best part. Is she doesn't have her mask on, but she's currently doing the announcement.
Yeah, she's doing the announcement.
She's doing the announcement
also,
for the flight.
Professor Karen, don't you know what happens when you call the police on black people for fucking not wearing a mask? You know what happens, Professor Karen?
Not to mention, this guy's like a union guy. You know what I mean? So it's like, this girl's probably in a union. How do you fight against? This guy was for sure fighting everyone should be fired for
also,
vaccines.
do you see the mask he was wearing as he was tweeting it?
So he wore a Bane mask.
Yeah, he has the full fucking the two things on the side. He's like,
that's what the monkeypox people should be wearing.
Yeah.
I am yeah, he goes.
I was born.
Yeah, I was born in the Karens.
It's a mental case.
Yeah.
Someone was saying that he might.
I was born as a Clinton. He's like the ultimate Karen.
Yeah, and he has like
Karen boss. He's the final.
He's really loving his being a villain though. That's just takes such a toll on.
But
you,
it's funny. He's being because he likes to post like moo ha 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 because he posted him at the World Economic Forum. Yeah. All of his tweets have like moo ha 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 in it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
but it's like
and he's calling everybody legit. He goes, "You dumb motherfuckers!" Like
he's the villain, like the villain where it's like he's the guard at the prison that's like he comes and like knocks their cereal over. Kind of thing,
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, well, yard time's canceled. I guess I'm the villain.
No, he's the guard in the Green Mile when they go to put the guy on the death penalty and he doesn't wet the sponge.
That's exactly this guy. And he goes, megatards.
Megatards enjoy getting electrocuted with no wet sponge.
So he's a snitch of the year. Woo, 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 woo. He calls everyone anti-vaxxers. I went through his whole profile, right?
Yeah.
And he took a trip to Chicago and he was having like a full meltdown because they don't have masks. And he was like, this country doesn't have enough masks or whatever. And it's like, so you're quadruple vaccinated. You've got 95, you've got 95 vaccines.
Yeah.
As Trump would say, literally the biggest mask anyone's ever seen.
Huge. Huge. Like that's like if you're cleaning up a crime scene.
100%, yeah. Still wouldn't be that big. And he's going on and on and on about how, in America, this is disgusting that they're letting people fly without masks and stuff like that, right? So, and he's a teacher. So he's a teacher trying to cancel a black girl. I watch what he's reposts. He reposts a lot of like Jimmy Kimmel scolding people sort of thing. Yeah. He was mad that another thing that he was mad about is someone posted, hey, I was on a Delta flight the other day and I've accidentally tested positive, and they like posted that or whatever, right? And he was mad that Delta didn't shut down all the flights because like this person that tested positive was like in the airport. So he was like, why is Delta not shutting down flights if you had someone in the airport that tested positive with COVID?
Because there's tons of people who have COVID at the airport.
I know,
also, it's like, it's over.
So he's mad at
They're like, we're done with this shit. Like, I don't...
Everyone's done with this shit except for this guy has long fucking TDS and masks.
He's got the longest TDS.
It's funny calling people in America. He was like all these anti-maskers. It was like you don't have to wear one anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to wear it. Also, it's like it's over.
It's like,
but also just like wear a mask if you're so worried about this.
I know, but it's like calling someone like an anti-seatbelter when they're not in their car. Yeah. It's like I don't drive. You're an anti. You're not wearing your seatbelt
because you're on the bus.
Yeah, you're on the bus. You're like you don't really have. It is exactly like that. Calling. Oh, here's just another quick one. There's another girl that was too fat to ride the horse.
Yeah.
Someone just sent me that her last article. Fuck. What was it? Her last article. She was complaining that she was mad at the airlines because the seatbelt didn't fit her. So she had a couple of gripes.
Yep.
A lot of her content is stuff
the world is conspiring against her.
A lot of her content is stuff that she's too fat for. But this is the guy who goes, this is the kind of things he posts. The COVID denying, anti-mask, anti-vax ghouls let rip a pandemic that hollowed out the labor force. So you get busted supply chains, scarcity of goods, inflation. So all of the inflation there, he thinks everything's because people didn't want to wear masks, even though it's like there's no correlation between places that had it.
I mean, there is inflation because of China having their zero COVID policy. Mm-hmm. Like that's for sure, because that disrupted the supply chain so badly. The fact that they're like there's inflation because people wouldn't wear masks in America.
But it's like this guy's saying it busted supply chains in the labor force. Like, what do you think was worse for the labor force? Like a guy who didn't wear a mask, or you like wanting everyone to get fired? Yeah. It's like, what are you out of your mind? He goes, never believe the right-wing lie of health versus the economy. We scientists tried to warn you. So this guy's like, this is like yesterday. You know what I mean? This wasn't,
this isn't
a year and a half ago.
2020 fucking
yeah.
doom.
He's at the World Economic Forum. He goes, hey, you stupid anti-vaxxers, I'll tell you a secret. Moo ha 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 ha. This is what he says. He likes to post moo ha ha.
He likes to play the villain. The thing that he's really not factoring in, though, is that he's like, oh, this drama's all fun and good, but you don't like it. No matter who you are, especially for somebody who's just like a professor, it really does take a toll on you. If he thinks just every time he logs into Twitter, which he does probably 20 times a day, and it's just like all hate,
Right.
And he's just doing it so he can like bump up his University of Ottawa like profile.
But it's also kind of this thing where he's sort of trying to pretend that he's having fun with it a little bit.
I know.
But it's like,
Well, he has to.
Dude, you're sitting in like an airport in a country that doesn't require masks with like a fucking hazmat suit on, and you're like, no, I'm actually laughing at them.
yeah, listen up, you MAGA chuds or whatever.
Like in his mind, he's like,
Yeah,
he's
well, he has to.
You have to act like that a little bit, right? But he's like, look at fucking these idiots. Yeah, you haven't left your house in 3 years. And in your mind, you're like, you believe these crazy
fucking
losers?
jokers.
But there is a interesting thing that since we're talking a bit about Canada stuff, I think that Jordan Peterson was tweeting about this a lot, so I think people would find it interesting, stuff like the real peak crazy stuff. Same with the UK, right? But so this is like what Trudeau has been doing right now is basically they have this bill called Bill C10, right?
C11.
Yeah. I thought it was C10.
C10 was the previous bill. It's the same bill, but they had because of the election, they had to shelve it. So then they passed it yesterday.
Right.
It's
so if
C11.
people remember,
C11.
Jordan Peterson originally got fired from his bill of like the government overreach stuff, or he
Yeah.
originally got popular from that, right? But also an update on Jordan Peterson before we get too into that. So remember how Jordan Peterson wasn't happy with the girl on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he posted, they did a Miss Universe, and then he reposted that, and he said, okay, so this one might be beautiful. So Jordan Peterson...
Guys, I felt it move. So
Paige Spinack, named Sexiest Woman Alive, does it for Peterson.
the golf chick. I don't know.
So sort of, I was happy to hear that because Peterson was trying to spank it to the Sports Illustrated. It wasn't doing anything for him. He was sort of grossed out by it. You know, he was he was at his house throwing his phone.
Just punching his dick.
What am I supposed to do with it? Yeah, what am I supposed to do with this? And he's like, believe you me, I tried, and I promise you this isn't hot. And then now he came back and he goes, good work, boys. That one will do. So I'm happy.
That'll do, pig.
So I'm happy that Peterson got his
rocks off.
he got his rock.
I actually saw on TikTok
Got
Michaela
his rocks
Peterson was
out.
on Fresh and Fit, and she was saying how she smashed that Cobra Tate guy.
Really?
Yeah, she said.
Come on.
Yeah, and she said he flew her. I assume to like Romania or something.
Michaela Peterson smashed Cobra Tate?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, she was on I think it was on Fresh and Fit. She was on Fresh and Fit. Yeah.
I guess nice one, Cobra Tate.
Yeah, I guess.
That's an interesting.
That's a weird one.
Fuck.
She's like, Dad, I'm off to Romania.
Very, very, very interesting.
Yeah. She's camming. She's like, what the fuck is going on now?
Oh, that would be a bummer for JP. Yeah. Well, shout out to Michaela, friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Canadian Parliament now. So I did there's this guy named JJ McCullough, and he's like a Canadian YouTuber, pretty popular. And he makes these videos on just like, you know, pretty normal stuff and Canadian things. But he made this video on this, and I've watched this video. I did a bunch of research, and it is one of the craziest things that they're trying to slip through. So basically what happens is in Canada, people might know this, but they have to play a certain amount of Canadian content on TV and stuff like that, right? But how it works is they get to decide what's Canadian content. And to be called Canadian content, you know, for example, CBC has to play Canadian content. But to get on there, you need to meet their definitions of what that is.
Yeah.
Which includes, you know, sending the ethnicity, the race, the gender, like having all the right makeups and all that
Like even
sort of
if
stuff.
this show was if we were filming this in Toronto, probably wouldn't be able to get on the
No.
list.
So like two white guys like isn't Canadian content.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or maybe it could be in the right thing, but like the bottom line is they're involved in what gets to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they make these laws and then they have monopolies like between CBC, you know, between CBC, Bell Media, there's like a few companies that like run
CRTC.
everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they get to sort of get all these grants. Like, for example, they have all these grants for Canadian content, but they get to decide who gets them, and they get to decide who has the money and gets to be Canadian content. So it's very, very like corrupt system. And now they've made a bill where they want to do it to the internet. So they basically want to be like people like us who do YouTube, who are Canadian. They want to say that won't count as Canadian content, which maybe we won't anyway because we don't live there.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I don't think
even
that's
if
true, because Drake still counts as Canadian content. Bieber
Yeah.
still counts as Canadian
Yeah,
content.
for
So
sure.
yeah, so we would count as Canadian content. But on YouTube, essentially, they want to do a thing where YouTube has to push harder in the algorithm, like who they basically decide.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe the most, you go, is there any place? So you have a lot of Canadians with like big YouTube channels, right? Like there's people with like millions of subscribers. There's lots of people like me with tons of subscribers,
Yeah.
500,000 or above or whatever, right?
Yeah, and people like
Whereas-
me, 9,000.
Whereas the industry things have like bomb after bomb.
Yeah.
Most of those places like don't do any views. So really, see like the Canadian Broadcast Corporation, which gets billions and billions, I don't know, billions, millions.
It's like-
billions of dollars
Yeah.
gets demoed by hundreds of dudes just
In their
chicks
basements.
making content in their basement.
Yeah.
And it's not even close.
Yeah, not
and
even
they want to make laws where they basically have to push like the corporate comedy, which is, very like pro their government, very, the
I mean, it's also
genetic makeup that they want, for their perfect for their version of the Aryan race.
Yeah, and it's just like against it's against how the algorithm works, period, because the algorithm's just trying to push you stuff that people
And
like.
they're going to make, the government's going to force the government. So the government is essentially going to force YouTube to suppress actual Canadians that are doing good in favor of like Canadians
that are doing bad,
that
who
are doing bad,
underrepresented.
who are underrepresented and are able to show that, by being partnered with these big
And
corporations.
newsflash, just pushing bad stuff doesn't make it do well.
It doesn't make
Like,
it
how
do
is
well.
the CBC not learned that you go, just because we have this giant mechanism and like this megaphone, just because we can push something doesn't make people like it.
No, they have tons of bombs, and Daniel pointed this out. They'll have like a #1 show, and you'll go like look on Twitter, and it has like 0 mentions.
Yeah, like nobody's talking about it.
But
Like not one
I think
person.
what their take is they're like, well, yeah, because the internet, people can watch what they want, and we need to put a stop to that.
Yeah, literally. That is how they think. They go, look, we don't want people to watch what they want.
Yeah, so they get to decide what's Canadian comedy. And then all of the big corporations they went to Parliament, and they all stand there and be like, oh, we think this is a great idea. It's like, well, why would they be doing that if it didn't benefit them? So it's obviously these big corporations are like, yeah, because we can get the most money, and then we can get this like CanCon requirement filled out. Like, for example, I've had lots of times where we weren't able to, fit the bill for certain things, even though it's just like a guy from Canada making stuff or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that stuff's very crazy. And then on top of that, the French people sort of like get to make it. They want this to happen too, so they can push the French
French
which,
stuff, yeah.
Whether you like that or not, that's at least like at least they're not lying about what they want.
No, and also,
they're just
but
like, we
they
should
don't
have
even
to-
need that, because like if you're French, you're like, what do you care if
What?
it's like you're French?
If
What do
you-
you care if
you
other
want
stuff's getting
some-
pushed? Like they don't even speak the language. It's like they're just like the algorithm's probably working perfectly for them.
Right,
They only
you're so
see
right,
Quebec
yeah.
content because they only speak French.
Yeah, they have an algorithm that like gives French people French stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like they're not sending you to fucking go watch stuff in English because you're like, I
yeah,
don't-
lo and behold, if you watch only French videos, YouTube's serving you up more French videos.
Yeah, exactly. You're like kind of working. It's working the way it's designed.
Yeah. So, but this is the kind of stuff that I think some people are blowing the whistle on it, essentially.
It's going to the Senate. Another,
But they're
crazy-
trying to put this stuff through quietly, almost.
Well, they've been dealing with it for a while, but it's wild too that now it's going to the Senate, and then a bunch of fucking 80-year-olds appointed for life who probably don't even know how to use YouTube. are, like,
Yeah,
making this
exactly.
decision
100%. So it's a big scam, and it's probably gonna go through. So it's just like whenever everyone wonders, like, why can't these fucking authoritarian countries ever have like hits without people moving to different countries? It's because they do everything in their power to assure that their little like unit controls everything.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, the closest is maybe the UK is the closest place where that maybe does work slightly more. But yeah, Canada has fucking no chance. Like everybody, the worst part is the media. Like the people in the industry in Canada are always like, why do people have to leave Canada to do well? And you're like, because of you. It's like, because of you.
Because of everything you do. You make it impossible.
Yeah, you make it impossible. You're part of the problem.
Do.
You're not this cool fucking substitute teacher dude.
No, you're the reason
solution.
for it. You have a monopoly and you refuse to like actually make the things that people want to that are popular.
Yeah. And then you just put these blinders up when you go, oh, people don't like the stuff we make. They must be wrong. And you go, maybe you're wrong. You go,
Yeah,
no.
maybe no one knows like this. No one exactly has the answers for what's gonna like pop off or connect to people. Like you can, get close and you try to, develop a philosophy on making stuff. But the idea that, there is a right or wrong, it just shows that even having that conversation shows like how fucking out to lunch
and it's
they
like,
are.
how long can you be batting zero before you go, maybe we should rethink this? Like,
The only time they're able to not bat zero is if a big American star that came to America, became a movie star, comes back to Canada or made a movie. Or in the case of like Letterkenny, which was time
there's
ago.
always going to be
but
the
no,
odd
Letterkenny
thing.
got super famous on the internet.
On YouTube.
Which probably would have been suppressed under their new things.
yeah,
And
it
they
would have.
probably
It would have
wouldn't make that
only been
anymore
shown.
anyway.
Yeah, it would have only been shown to Canada and probably wouldn't have gone viral in America.
No,
because it just
exactly.
wouldn't have. Yeah. So
So yeah, they're out to lunch. And then-
thanks, Turdo.
Yeah, thanks, Trudeau. And at the same time that was happening, the CTV covered this, where the Governor General, they went on a plane and they did 100K in-flight catering. So
Is this not enough CanCon for you, Canada?
yeah, is this? How about this for CanCon?
Yeah, seriously.
How about this for? You don't want this on YouTube?
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like there's like we're making the most Canadian episode, but it's all critical of their shit. So they'd be like, "Yeah, that's not CanCon."
That's
two white guys
literally-
making fun of us. Fuck,
We
no.
wouldn't get to be included.
I know.
The guy laid it out pretty aggressively in a good way, but it's basically you need to apply to be considered that.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, you're like 10 reasons Trudeau sucks.
We should definitely fucking, if this passes, we should put this through the process just so we understand the process of applying and all that stuff. Just so we can illuminate for people who watch just how
Just go get
bullshit it is.
denied.
Just to show the denial letter.
Yeah, like 2 Canadian success stories, but like we're not Canadian.
Yeah, we're not Canadian enough. Ryan's fucking saying a boot, and we're like, yeah, no, not for us.
This guy, JJ McCall, has got the real accent.
Yeah.
I'm way more than me. I was noticing it. The one thing, America has one that seemed like it would have been Canadian, is Lady Parts, the all-Muslim band.
Oh, yeah, I showed
Do
that,
yourself
yeah.
a favor and look this up, ladies and gentlemen. It is good stuff. So it's
Yeah.
basically
I don't want to spoil the series finale, but they all get honor killed.
I couldn't
by their
believe that.
family.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that it was Canadian, but the one girl's in the band and she has the full hijab on.
Full burqa.
Like, has there ever been a girl wearing a full burqa that was also in a punk band?
no.
I think her husband's down with that.
the-
Just going on tour with my band.
You go, I didn't give you permission to leave the house, so I don't know how that's going to work. But
Well, I'm just going on tour. What? Well, I'm in a punk band now.
that's like the most offensive
Those
thing
girls
too,
can't speak-
is they go like, oh, there's not, because the original like thread of that idea is they go, like there's all these Asian doctors, but you don't see Asian doctors on TV. And they go, yeah, you know what? You're right. We need more representation because like
That's
there
actually
are,
what it is,
there-
yeah.
but then they're like, there's not enough women in hijabs and punk bands. You go, yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, there isn't enough in
This
real
isn't
life
going to
either.
make it exist, and it doesn't exist.
I feel like the girl in the hijab, like, that even caught watching that show.
Yeah, that girl's dad is gonna be like, "What the fucking Western garb devil's nonsense are you watching?"
Yeah, exactly. What devil's nonsense are you watching? Yeah, anyways.
Honey, get the acid.
Well, Ukraine probably has something similar because they just got rid of the new the political party because they said he's a communist Russian.
Yeah,
So
well,
they
he
just-
is literally the Russian. He's the Russian. Party.
He says they're not, and they basically put him in jail, and they're taking his money away and seizing all the stuff. He says it's propaganda. Well, yeah, but it is interesting that Ukraine is essentially banned the opposition party.
Yeah, although that's a weird one. I was like, I read this too, and I mean, again,
What's your
I haven't
take on it?
I haven't dug into it enough to really, but there, again, like there are these Russian separatists because they go like, we're Russian. It was that was similar to my family who they're like, we're Russian who live in Ukraine, whatever. So like there would be a Russian party, but then when you're at war, you're like, seems just like during wartime to be giving like the Russians a voice when they're trying to like defend themselves seems like it seems more understandable anyways. They go, we don't need a voice for pro-Russia as we're getting attacked by Russia.
Well, he denies the charges, and he said they're political motivated.
Well, he's best friends with Putin. He's literally...
That's what people are saying. Him and Putin are pretty tight.
Yeah, he's like... Putin's his child's godfather.
The child's godfathers.
It's like I tell you, he's not pro-Russian.
Well, but they I guess if they just banned that party, but then I don't know. It's a weird thing when you're banning parties, but I guess that is what it is.
Yeah, like if America had like a fucking pro-Iraq party during 2001, they'd be like, you know what, we're gonna have you take a seat for the next little bit.
But would it be banned?
I don't know if no, because again, it's like they don't do it like that. They would do it in the American fashion of like they don't outright ban and imprison you. We're a little more progressive than that, but yeah, again, it doesn't surprise.
Well,
me,
I know it doesn't surprise, but it is funny.
Like Ukraine is like previous to this war, it was understood was like one of the most corrupt places on earth.
I know.
So it's like for them to be like, oh, they're doing corrupt stuff.
No,
now?
it's just funny that like this has happened to like I love democracy in Ukraine flag in the bio. It's just a further
of course.
It's just a further.
Does anybody still have a Ukraine flag in their bios?
I think they still got the Ukraine flags. You don't think they still got the Ukraine flags?
I was personally. If anything, this whole thing made me slightly more cynical in the sense that I thought it was crazy how fast we moved on from caring about this.
I know.
It was like all everybody cared about at first, and then it's like nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, definitely got rid of that one pretty quick. Gonna take a quick second here to tell you about Lucy. Now, fellas,
You've been fucking on the Lucy.
I like the Lucy's. Yeah. I got them right here. Yeah. Well, you already know Biden was making some, big changes. He's trying to, and listen, we told you, vaping's for little girls. That's why I got out of the game, man. I'm a big man. We're all adults here, If you want to use nicotine and relax, you want to get off the darts, you want to get off the vapes, you want to use the Lucy products, that is the new move. It's a oral nicotine company that makes nicotine gum, lozenges, and pouches for adults who are looking for the best, most responsible way to consume their nicotine. It's a new year. Why not start by switching to a nicotine product that you can feel good about it? I personally got out of that game of darts. You're not going to catch me around that nonsense. Biden can get rid of them all they wants. Don't affect me none. More of a drinking smoker, but still getting out of the game period because there is a point
not
where
a good game to be in.
It's such a bad game to be in. So you want to, Lucy's way better. And if you enjoy using nicotine, you should definitely check out Lucy's products at lucy.co. That's lucy.co. And use the promo code BOYSCAST at checkout. Now, also got to read this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. Remember, if you're interested in a better way to use nicotine, lucy.co. And be sure to use the promo code BOYSCAST. Let's get back into it. There was an article about something that is going on in the world right now, and that is bimbos being back.
I'm for that.
You heard this? And there's a bit of a debate with the community. So basically, the first place, there's this on TikTok, there's a big thing being like, we're bimbos.
Yeah.
And then there's this article being like, Bimbo is back, and as a feminist, couldn't be more delighted. Snap, snap, snap. And then there's another article being like, this bimbo shit's nonsense.
Yeah.
The real feminists aren't bimbos, No. So we're going to go through the first one, then the second one.
There's no such thing as a real feminist. There's just people's definitions of them.
This is where it's...
again, some people are like, yeah, I fucking did like a 50-guy gangbang. That's real feminism, right? And then
this other person's
I don't know
like,
about that.
I raised my, kids, and I have a trad wife, and actually cooking is really feminist. Well, basically, they made it so if you're a girl, you really gotta have this identity. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's very hard to be like just an average girl and just be like, I'm actually against feminism without having to fight every second of your life. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So I think for these people, a lot of them just, they have to go, whatever I like that's feminist. So like I'm actually a bimbo, and everyone's been giving me shit for not being a feminist. Like actually, bimbo is feminism, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing. But there was another thing that was interesting to me, that I watched this movie, and I think I was talking to you about this, right? And it was called The Decline of Western Civilization. It's about punk and the circle jerks and all this. And it's kind of some of the things that I've been saying forever was, that the first people that start movements are always like very anti-establishment, and then the movements all become establishment, and then they become run by girls, then they become infighting. You know what I mean? Yep. And the same thing when you have like a workplace and you have like a group chat, or you have like a Facebook group where everyone gets to talk in. It's always the least productive members that kind of, start fighting and blah, 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 right? But the really interesting thing about this was the guys in this thing. They interviewed a lot of guys, and all the guys were like, first of all, I didn't realize how much these punks hated hippies. Like when first punks came out, they were like, fucking hippie pieces.
Hippies are the worst. Yeah.
They're like, these fucking hippie losers, fuck these pussies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're kind of badass. And every guy was like, I'm just different from the world. Like, I don't need anyone else. We're fucking living life different. And every girl that they interviewed was like, everyone should just be able to prove that they're different, and more people should come and be different like us. It was so interesting. Every guy was like, I'm different from everyone else, that's why I'm this. And every girl was like, more people should be accepted, and if they were just actually a punk, they should be able to just be a punk, and it's nothing wrong with having green hair. And if you want to have it was
like the not cool way of describing
buddy, it was night and day. But it's interesting where it's like, the new, like a lot of times punk, when it was the hate hippies, now it kind of became hippies.
Yeah.
So I bet you the original hippies were probably better than the hippies that took over after them too. Because original hippies were like fighting wars, and the other hippies were like, let's do heroin.
Well, that's the thing, is the original hippies then became the yuppies, and then they were like the ones who were running the country and everything. They were like, oh,
there was a step in between there, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's the punks, I think.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, I was saying that like, the hippies first were that, and then the hippies second were like, love, man, like, let's just get high and kind of like do nothing.
Yeah.
And then the third, but some of the original hippies probably weren't hippies anymore once it became that.
Yeah.
And that's when they became
the establishment.
Some of them, not all of them, obviously.
Not all, no. But
I'm sure that.
No, there's a lot of you go to a Grateful Dead show, you see the ones that never crossed over. They're still stuck in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. So the bimbo is very much that, where it's like, everything that they're doing, they should be like if I'm a bimbo, they just want to be like, well, everyone should be this. You know what I mean?
There you go. That's fine.
And they said, we've already reclaimed terms like queer, babe, and slut. And TikTok is helping to make skimpily dressed girls respectable. But it's also...
By the way, the idea of reclaiming words, like... Yeah, you have reclaimed a word, but let me call you it 20 times and see how much you still feel like it's yours.
The reclaiming didn't work all that great, if you're being honest, right?
Let me call you a slut like 20 times in like the meanest way I can and see how good you feel about owning that word.
That's exactly what it is. They're like, we reclaimed it, but it's like, did you really though?
You fucking slut. And you go, oh.
Yeah, you're a fucking slut. Hey, babe. Yeah, on the side of the road, you walk by, hey, babe. It's your word. What do you mean? I thought you reclaimed it. But yeah, they're saying that if you haven't heard of Bimbo TikTok, then it's time to wake up and smell the lip gloss. It's a subsection of TikTok where self-proclaimed bimbos are proudly reclaiming the title. And there's no Mimbo TikTok yet. It's only
no Bimbo
TikTok. Well, but basically the gist is it's a bunch of girls that, their whole thing is they, date older men and they pay for everything and they don't work. And they've also sort of slid in that like it's actually anti-capitalist to just not work.
I can see that.
You're sort of against, it's very anti-capitalist to like, have a guy that pays for everything for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
How does he get his money?
That's where it falls apart a little bit. Nah. And also they are providing a service, a full-time girlfriend, basically. That's one of the things. Like actually, cooking is anti-capitalist too, because you make you and your husband's food, and then he doesn't have to.
Hey, you don't invoice him like that one psycho,
and he doesn't have to go and buy it from McDonald's, and you don't support a corporate chain.
Yeah. Good for them.
Good for him. You won't catch me trying to stand in the way of evolving language. Take my own sexuality. So this is the first time she actually thought she might stand in the way of evolving language. I experimented with identifying as pansexual, only to find out from Twitter that I'd accidentally erased bisexuality.
Whoops.
Whoopsie daisy. Well, her name was Mud at this point. And she said, I didn't know that I was able to do that, let alone all by myself. I don't know if I've ever felt simultaneous sadness, shame, and incredible power, but it's very confusing. Eventually, I settled on queer as my personal badge of honor. So imagine the horror.
Sick badge of honor.
I know. It's pretty funny calling it a badge of honor.
Badge of honor.
There's nothing better than a badge of honor.
Yeah, you and 50% of all adolescent girls. Sick badge of honor.
Yeah. The badge of honor. Well, she's found a new badge of honor, and that's Bimbo.
How do you go from queer to bimbo?
Well, she's a bimbo queer.
Wow.
Bimbo queer core.
Can you be gross and be a bimbo?
But is that not, that's why I brought the punk thing. Like, do you tell me that's not the same thing where she's like, pansex, like the same where it was like, punk metal speedcore or whatever is the same reason that this is like, pansexual queer bimbo core.
Yeah.
Like they're just adding sort of a bit to the genre.
Can you be like a 300-pound bimbo in a scooter?
No, I think the bimbos have to be hot.
You got to be hot, right?
Well, this is another part of it that I think
it's very exclusionary.
It's very exclusionary, and I think that you hit the nail on the head with that because one of the reasons was if you're like a hot chick, like a lot of girls were like feminism is all about, Lena Dunham getting naked and having armpit hair and being a beast, right?
Yeah.
And then hot girls were like, yeah, okay. And then after a while, hot girls were like, or you can be hot too. And you know what I mean?
For sure. Well, I'm sure they want to be feminists as well because they're women. And they go, I want to be a feminist. And they go, and then
that's where girl
and then people
boss
just
was.
assume they're disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then on top of that, lo and behold, these hot chicks videos are doing a little better. Right. So the hot chick feminist movement is getting more traction than the like, hello. Men suck.
Yeah, the Jabba the Hutts aren't doing as well.
Right. Her thing is more like, these girls are like, I'm a hot piece of ace and I get guys to pay for everything, but somehow it's for feminism, right?
Yeah.
So she says she was the horror and she goes, I can imagine.
What did you say? The whore?
The horror.
Oh, the horror.
No, I said the horror that she was dealing with.
He said the whore. I go, whoa.
So anyways, the horror says that.
So what'd that whore say?
I can picture my 6-year-old in a decade's time muttering to his mates, oh my God, did you hear my mom just said neurodivergent? Because she's saying it moves really quickly, right?
Yeah.
So that's another one. She's, pansexual, neurodivergent, queercore, right?
What do you think he's going to be like? Well, did you hear? My mom said, Mom, it's not neurodivergent. It's retard. It's the year 2033. Get with it, Mom.
Exactly. We back. A prominent self-proclaimed bimbo, Chaplex, described Bimbo as being a leftist who likes to have her tits out. So when we've been saying that, ladies, if you're going to protest, get the puppies out.
Get the puppies out.
Put the puppies out. I'm not here to tell you everything what to do. All I'm saying is, listen, if you get the puppies out, your protest is going to get more coverage. It's a little something for the people that didn't want to have the protest. They're probably less likely to complain because if you streak through a soccer game, people are going to be mad. If you got your puppies out, your opposition's going to let the protest happen because they're getting to see puppies.
What's the saying? You catch more flies with honey.
You catch more flies with honey. I mean, but those people aren't going to listen anyway, but they're just not going to shut it down as much when the pups are out.
Absolutely.
So there's one thing that ladies should know about protesting is you should always be naked.
Unless you're gross.
And then you should be wearing
cover
a
up double.
I mean, we shouldn't have to tell you this. This should be protesting 101.
This is common sense.
They should be teaching.
Just A/B test it,
Exactly.
2 different messages, 2 different people. See which one works better.
Yeah, scantily clad. I will say, if it's online and you're nasty, I think you could still go nude because there's going to be a demo for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're trying to reach like an appeal to a mass audience, like a full football field, or you're like in a crowd of people, you're going to want to cover that up. If you're nasty and if you're hot, you're going to want to get the guns out. It's pretty simple stuff. They should be teaching this 101 of poli-sci.
This should be elementary school stuff they should be teaching you. This should be like with sex
ed.
ed.
You'd like that, you fucking pervert.
I'm a groomer. I'm a groomer teacher. I've been grooming.
Well, all I'm saying is if Danny gets to go to the schools and groom teachers, then I should. Well, I actually did a joke about that stuff this weekend, and this guy comes up to me and he goes, "You know what's crazy?" He goes, "I had."
He goes, I'm a pedophile, and He goes, have you ever considered this angle for that joke?
He goes, "You know what's wild? I'm a pedophile." He said, "I've had to kick. I was what's the
Principal, superintendent.
Superintendent Chalmers, yeah.
Superintendent Chalmers.
He was superintendent, like Superintendent Chalmers, which is higher than principal. And he said he's kicked 4 people out of that for being pervs.
Yeah.
So they're out there.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. But I don't know if they're, it's hard to say because it's all I'm hearing about lately, that it's hard to say what the extent. But I do have an article about that stuff so that we can give one for that side. But the Bimbo TikToks, so now we're talking, the tits are out, but it's for leftism.
Yeah.
TikTok revolutionary bimbos hold firm that women can wear whatever they want, however revealing it is. Yes, they're against the far right, including pro-lifers. So basically, you can do whatever you want, wear whatever you want, have whatever job you want, but you don't like you like abortions and you don't like the far right.
By the way, if you need an abortion, I would get that in the next week or 2.
You think they're going?
They might be going.
In Florida, you mean?
I mean, apparently the Supreme Court goes on recess in, I think, like a week or in 10 days or something, end of the month. So we're going to get some decisions.
So are you going to try
we're going to
try to buzzer beat it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, we're going to be getting decisions on guns in New York, which that might be a wild one. They might literally be like, yeah, you can conceal carry in New York City as of like a week from now.
The federal government's going to say that?
Yeah. The Supreme Court. Yeah, so those would be guns. It'll be like Texas here in New York City.
That'd be interesting. Do you think that'll help or hurt?
I think it'll help.
Like if you have a bunch of, Texan type.
Well, I mean, the people who already walk around with guns in New York City, this is not going to affect them. It's just the people who'd like to defend themselves against those people who will now have their guns.
Yeah, those people aren't being.
But
like,
the people,
yeah,
like the people who are already doing like the criminals, they're like, yeah, this does not affect us one way or another. I'm not registering my illegal gun, and I'm going to carry it anyway.
Exactly. Well, that'd be interesting if it actually. That would be nuts if they did it, and then the stats like completely changed, where it was like murders were like way down, and then they'd have to be like.
I mean, I'll tell you, there'll be less people fucking around on the subways. That's for sure. If people think that there's tons of guns all of a sudden.
Though you're saying the people that do the dances on the thing and sort of kick you in the face.
The pull-ups and the.
Is it however revealing it is? They're against the far right, and they're fiercely inclusive, carefully inviting all genders to revel in their glorious bimbodom. So it sounds pretty feminist to me. Lovely. And so basically super hot chicks, these girls haven't getting much pushback because they're super hot. But this is, that's the hot girl community sort of saying we're still feminists, and this is the new feminist, and actually having someone pay for all your stuff's feminist. But there's still some of the old guard, not so fast, because this girl did a big thing on Substack that went kind of viral, and she says, bimbos and the bimbos and the backlash, and log line was, no, we are not hot.
We are gross. Respect us.
She says, no, we're not going to let fucking these bimbos take over feminism. Feminism is about being gross. It's about growing armpit hair.
Yeah.
And it's about
not working out.
So bimbo talk, and this girl's not happy. She goes, one of the growing corners of social media disguised as leftism, where female independence, women having any sort of a power, and feminism itself is deemed uncool, while assessing women based on their physical attractiveness. And her whole take is, she goes, this is the patriarchy at work,
of course,
and men. And I go, I promise you, bimbo TikTok, men are not involved.
No, it's what was the word that was used?
It's you told women
internal misogyny.
You're right.
This is internalized misogyny.
Well, she's even gone farther than that to be like, it's actual misogyny. She's saying like, this is conservatives like convincing.
Yeah, you're getting tricked.
Yes, but really what's happening was you gave these girls an option where you go, hey, hot chick, get not hot. And then, say all this fucking shit online. And after like 6 months of that, all of them were like, my life is way worse.
Yeah, so I did your little experiment.
Yeah.
It's not working out.
So I was working way better when dudes were buying me trips to Ibiza.
Yeah, my credit score's lower.
Yeah, no, this stinks. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, this is.
How about I'll tell you what. How about I do all the things you were saying, but I'm fucking hot and guys pay for all my stuff. And she goes, no. I go, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. I'm still gonna be pro-abortion, but I'm
gonna be I'm gonna be a hot. I'm gonna basically becoming an actress. Yes, this is anti-feminism, even if it's coming from some version of the left, and even if it's cast as a joke. A significant number of young women are seeing this version of feminism peddled as the new edgy on social media. It is, well, I guess they became the mainstream now, so the edgy is like, I'm a bimbo.
Yeah, I'm a huge whore.
No, they were down with being whores before.
I feel like this one's not.
They were just not.
She was like the bra burning.
You think so?
She's like old school. Where she
it's
goes,
possible.
Fuck this bra stuff.
My thing is more she was down with being like a whore or whatever. Her thing was she's just not down with you getting any money in return. If anything, I'd pay the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's reverse prostitution.
Unless you're a sex worker and then she thinks it's fine.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the arrangement where, that is the funny part of it, the sex work one, where they're like, I'm very against the arrangement where like a guy has a husband and he pays for things and she raises the kids. But I'm very fine with the arrangement where she comes to a hotel room and has sex with them.
It's transactions, baby.
Yeah. She likes it. She likes it transactional, but she doesn't like when a relationship's organized that way.
No.
But if you put it on a contract, if you call your wife a sex worker, I think they're fine with it now. That's pretty funny, calling your chick a sex worker. Oh, I'm paying for stuff. My wife's actually a sex worker. What happened? It's like, well, I don't know. She would bang a few times a week and I pay for most stuff.
Yeah. Explain to me how she's not one.
Woo! Oh, these are our girls. They're sex workers.
What's that?
These are our girlfriends. They're sex workers.
Oh, yeah.
So she goes, it's just very old, boring conservatism. So she's saying bimbo is boring conservatism. But I guess their TikToks don't seem that boring compared to your, Elizabeth Warren fucking armpit hair versions, right?
No.
The stay-at-home girlfriend, the trad wife. These are retrograde stories, and they're being sold as liberation. And then she argues with the people. So this is what they said. No more Instagrams about rising and grinding. No more the wing. No more straining to be smarter than the boys. Bimboism offers... Bimboism sounds good, eh? Bimboism is offering an opposing... and refreshing premise, value me, look at me, not because I'm smart and diligent, but for the fact that I'm not. It's anti-capitalism, it's even anti-work. So this is their pitch. And then she responded to that in her piece, and she says, let me say first that women were never straining to be smarter than men.
Yeah, they were.
You can fucking put that opinion in your hat and then eat your hat. And the characterization says a whole lot more about the presumed abilities of women and men. Well, they're bimbos.
They're bimbos.
They're bimbos.
Bimbo culture.
So the bimbos were trying hard to be smarter than men. They're bimbos.
Yeah. Isn't that the whole premise of Legally Blonde?
Mm-hmm. Legally Blonde, the girl actually was smart.
But that's what I'm saying. But she has to prove it because she's a bimbo.
Yeah, she has to
she's
prove
a smart
it 'cause
bimbo.
she's a bimbo. I mean, I have everyone. I always said that like everyone always thinks I'm super stupid. And that's one of the reasons I feel like I'm good at like street interviews.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I feel like a lot of times I'm talking to people and they're just like, man, this guy's retarded. That like allows me to fucking
sneak. A little sneaky. There.
Yeah, same with stand up. Like so much of like if you're not like really stupid and everyone thinks you're really stupid, you can do so much with that.
Oh yeah. Isn't that from the 48
It
Laws
is
of
one
Power?
of the 48 Laws
the rake,
of Power, yeah.
Right?
Is it the rake?
I think it was the rake.
I don't know which one it is, but it is true.
Yeah. It was one of them.
But it's with audiences, with everything. The rise of the leftist bimbo is not an isolated TikTok trend. It's part of a greater backlash against women competing with men. So men have nothing to do with that, so she's completely wrong about that.
I read that article and all I heard was blah, blah, blah. If I could give just a quick summary, all I heard was blah, 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 blah.
I'll give you one of the teachers. Aiden Bunag was arrested for child porn.
Yeah.
Did you see that one going viral?
No.
Oh, it was you probably have what I told you too, but basically what happened was,
Oh, he was the dude on Twitter. And he goes, we're not all groomers. And
he kept saying that, like, yeah, he kept being like, you think we're a fucking groomer? Like, no.
And he said they're projecting, right?
He goes,
oh.
yeah, and then he went to
Nothing like calling your
fucking
your detractors, say they're projecting, and then you getting arrested.
booked. Yeah.
Whew.
Okay, I'm going to do one question, and then we have an extra episode this week, again, at the patreon.com/theboyscast for the fellas. Been working hard over here, and people have been sending me messages. I think a lot of the dogs fucking respect the hustle that we've been on lately for the podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Here's a question. There's this girl, and this is from the Patreon. If you want to answer, send questions, you send them to the Patreon, and I usually answer them on the Patreon or here. There's this girl that I had really strong feelings for. I told her that, but she didn't feel the same way. We are still good friends and maybe hang once a week, but it's been 7 months and I can't stop thinking about her. From watching your podcast, you seem more like a fucking Chuck guy. But I'm interested to hear your POV. Maybe that's what I need. So,
I mean, yeah, there's you don't want to fuck. But...
Danny's the fucking Chuck guy.
No, this is Chuck. This is Chuck City right here.
No, Danny's the fuck Chuck guy.
I fucked a couple of guys named Chuck.
You seem more like a fuck
I mean,
Chuck guy.
this is a very what is that?
I mean, maybe fucking Chuck when you're like single and young, but like in general, I feel like most people eventually you have like girlfriends or you're dating one or two.
For sure. But I'm saying in this scenario,
no one that's doing anything like getting a lot done.
But in this scenario, like this guy, his only chance is he has to Chuck to have a chance to fuck.
That is true. Yeah.
That's the only way. It's like if you think you're going to just stick around in her life.
Well, I think what you're saying and what I would agree with is the bottom line is you go, what's your goal? And I think that most people's problems, when you boil it down, you look down, you go, what's your goal and how do you expect to achieve it? So it's like, you're like, oh, I'm still friends with this girl, first of all.
Temporarily. Wait till she gets a boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, it's like most adults don't have like friends of the opposite sex. So I assume you're like young enough where it's
you're obviously a certain age and then, one of you is going to move somewhere for whatever your life.
But what do you get out of this? Like, what's your goal? It's like, and obviously if
Last
we boil
man
it down,
standing.
yes. So if you boil down the whole thing, really, if you're being honest with yourself, what's actually happening is you're like, I think she's going to change her mind.
Yeah, I'm going to stick around long enough where she's going to go through all of her options and be like, you know what? He's not that bad.
Or if you say, you know what? Which I would never get. You're like, I'm probably not going to smash, but I value her friendship so high. It's like, well, then, I mean, if you're that guy, then yeah.
Yeah, but you don't.
No, but if that, you're going to be the chump. There may be a guy like that, but you're right. You probably don't, but you're going to be a chump your whole life if you have that kind of mentality.
Oh, yeah. That kind of stuff, girls, that makes their pussies,
you tried to smash.
Dry.
It didn't work. Yeah, you have to step away from it.
I mean, that's the thing that guys really, that you really need to realize is if you have a friend who's a girl and you're probably, in your early 20s or whatever, once you make that move, if she doesn't take it, that friendship's done.
I know.
Like, it's basically like if it's not done right there, it's the clock's been started.
We had a buddy when we were hanging out at I think you were there. A bunch of us were at a bar one night, and then there's this guy, and he was like, I was friends with this girl, and he was like giving the sob story that I didn't even really believe. He's a comic, and he was like, I was dating this girl, and like we were friends for like 7 months, and then we started dating, and I just want to go. We kind of broke up. It didn't work out, but I just missed the friendship, and it was like, no, you didn't have a friendship. You had like a flirty friendship that was like obviously will we, won't we, that led to you banging. It's like that was your friendship, was like you like prolonging that. And if there was none of that there, you wouldn't have ended up boning.
100%.
And yes, so it's like, no, you didn't like the friendship. You liked like the fucking.
Nobody had girls have stories where they're like, yeah, I was like this guy I was friends with, and then he professed his love to me, but I wasn't into him, and then I haven't talked to him really anymore. Or I don't. And you're like, because that's how it works.
Exactly.
They shoot their shot, and then you shoot them down, and then that's it. They're not friends anymore.
Yeah, so, and it sounds like you put in the work to try to smash, which is why you're probably being like a good friend to her.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, this guy is trying to be like he's got a bit of like the fucking like wolf in sheep's clothing here, because like you don't want to be friends with her.
Totally. Yeah, move on to the next one. It's like, in this case, don't fucking Chuck.
Yeah, no, Chuck. The only chance that you have of her being interested in you is a full
But you
rejection.
can't even think of that. It's just, it sounds like it's over. You know
No,
what I mean?
but I'm saying, but even in the back of your mind, you go like, because
Move on to the next
But
one.
he's sticking around thinking that like maybe he'll get tagged back in.
Nah,
Whereas it's the opposite.
And if you do,
have
you
to
don't want to be in
disappear.
there in those scenarios. You're going to have no hand.
Yeah, zero leverage.
It'd be a nightmare to be in a scenario
the
like
move
that.
here is you ghost her like is it, and
Well,
then
you could just, you don't have to be mean
No,
about it.
I'm not saying mean about it, but I'm saying like you disappear from the scenario, and then maybe you might come back. She might because of the rejection.
I feel
because
like
you're
this,
rejecting
you don't
her.
want to be thinking like that, though.
Yeah.
In your mind, you have to convince yourself it's just like, this is done.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
if 2 years, probably then you don't care anymore. But it's like,
For
if you
sure.
think like, you know that thing where it's like, you have to like not care a little bit, and people are like, how do you not care? It's like, you actually have to not care, which means you also have to like, in your mind, you can't also be thinking like, I'm not caring, because it's like, you can't be like you just have to be like, get over this.
you do have to get over it.
Move
I'm just
on.
saying, but there, an opportunity may present itself to you because of this,
And you have to not care.
and not care. Yeah, but you got to just move on. But this is a young. If this guy turns out to be in his 30s, I'll be very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah, you don't let this girl bitch you around, dude.
Nah.
It's fucking, these women will take you for all they're worth. You're probably catching all these favors. You're probably driving her places, man. And then she's just gonna, and when it's all through, she leaves your ass for a what, dude? All right. Patreon.com/theboyscast. And email me if you know any talented people that have cool work ethic and want to be involved in cool projects. Peace.
Later.
BOYSCAST. The boys, the fellas, the lads, the bros, the dudes, the homies, the mates, the blokes, the boys. Cast is the show. The dogs, the